In 1969, a young woman from Illinois arrived in Colorado with an education degree and little knowledge of golf. But it wouldn't be long before that woman, Kathy Walker, knew enough to teach a master class on how to run a national golf championship. 3 years after getting married in 1973, Kathy and Buzz Walker joined Cherry Hills Country Club. She soon found herself at the course that would host the 1978 U.S. Open, won by Andy North, the 1983 U.S. Mid-Amateur won by Jay Siegel, and the 1985 PGA Championship won by Hubert Green. Kathy's golf exposure coincided with her 16-year ascendancy at Frontier Airlines, where she ultimately became the company's director of sales and advertising until an ownership change diverted her career flight path.
When we had the chance to host the 90 Amateur, we really were looking for an individual that could be an executive director, that could run the operation. Kathy was the only choice and was a fabulous choice by our committee. We had a wonderful time and a wonderful experience working with Kathy.
Kathy rewarded the club's confidence, raising close to $500,000 through non-traditional methods, including 2 tournaments that allowed the public to play Cherry Hills. The amateur was a raging success, with Phil Mickelson winning his first and only USGA championship. You'd never know an epic hailstorm had pummeled the course just weeks earlier.
There were hundreds of hailstones the size of golf balls on every single green. And I can deal with situations most of the time, but I found myself tearing up. Kathy said, "Rich, why don't you take a little walk and we'll talk later." That morning, the next morning, Kathy called and said, "You've got to come over here and see what's going on." I went into the golf shop, I went out to the 9th green, and there were 20 to 25 people on that green with towels so they could kneel down. They had forks and they were fixing the divots that had happened because of the hailstones. In 2 to 3 days, we had probably 100 plus volunteers out on the greens. This was all of Kathy's work. She had lunch prepared. These people were having a fabulous time, and on some cases, there were 3 generations fixing the greens. But Kathy is a problem solver and is never the problem.
At the U.S. Senior Open 3 years later, Kathy would again serve as championship director, this time with fellow member Rick Collier as Jack Nicklaus captured his last national championship. In 1995, Kathy was asked by her former Frontier colleague Gail Godby to run the first 5 Colorado Women's Opens. In 1997, the event attracted World Golf Hall of Famer Kathy Whitworth and LPGA and Colorado Golf Hall of Fame inductee Pat Lang. Kathy's reputation for running tournaments also caught the attention of oil and gas executive George Solich, who in 1995 founded the Energy Cup Matches, a biennial Ryder Cup-style competition between oilmen from Colorado and Texas. Contested until 2008 at legendary resorts such as Pebble Beach, the event generated more than $2 million in donations for worthy charities.
I just cold called Kathy, and we had lunch and we hit it off right away. And from that moment, Kathy became a big part of the Energy Cup and a big part of my life because I ran the Energy Cup for 14 years. So she was awesome. I'm so glad I ran into her.
When the 2012 U.S. Amateur returned to Cherry Hills, Kathy again served as tournament director. Chaired by Jeff Dorsey, the championship delivered a historic finish and, not surprisingly, raves from the USGA members, competitors, fans, and family. And just 2 years later, with George Solich as general chair for the 2014 BMW Championship at Cherry Hills, he put her on the executive committee to provide support for corporate apparel sales at what the PGA Tour named its Tournament of the Year. The apparel connection came about because Kathy had developed a corporate and promotional division at Tehama, the high-end golf clothing line founded by actor Clint Eastwood and Denver's Nancy Haley. Even now, she continues to work at corporate golf incentives, matching clients with innovative products for their events.
I'm just really happy that she's getting this award because it's really well deserved and really a kind of a long-term dedication to the game of golf, that's Kathy Walker.
For all she's done for championship golf in our state, the Colorado Golf Hall of Fame honors Kathy Walker with the Lifetime Achievement Award.